Hello there. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone is doing well. It's the end of the week, or the start of the week, however you like to think of it. We got a new morning pages today. It's right now 8:17 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, September 5th. And I still can't believe that it's September already. Hope everyone is staying healthy and making music. So if you wanted to fire up your DAW and follow along with some of these parameters, feel free to mute me and work on your own projects for the next hour, hour and a half. Yesterday we went for 2 hours, which was unprecedented for morning pages, but we kind of got in the flow, and I'm pretty happy on how it actually turned out. And I wanted to give a shout out to Samora, who gave really good feedback and helped propel the track forward when I had lost all hope after putting in the very first sequence. But yeah, that's kind of the fun of this whole process, is you just never know what's gonna happen. Especially, and I found this especially true when I started live streaming this. I think it's been a really good exercise for me because, you know, you have the added pressure of some extra eyeballs on your project, some extra comments. And yeah, I want to make it good, and so I think that's really helped me in terms of the morning pages. Also want to give a shout out to my parents if they're watching. Found out yesterday that they tune in every so often, so shout out to them. You know, being a boomer and being on Twitch is a pretty big thing, so hey, Mom and Dad. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go through what we have planned for today, at least loosely. I sometimes don't follow this as closely as I should, but we'll be in the tempo of 107 beats per minute. We're gonna be using that E-Hungarian Minor scale. We used that a couple weeks ago, and it's a really interesting scale. So we'll take a listen to what that sounds like. For hardware, I manually chose this one. Usually these are randomly generated, but I need to get more practice on my ARP 2600 clone. I've got the Behringer Blue Marvin edition right over here, out of view. So we'll focus on that a bit. For the Ableton Live instrument, we'll be using Wavetable, a great Wavetable synth. It's almost like all you need for Wavetable synthesis, as far as I'm concerned, even though I've got several VSTs that do the same duty. But I love Live's Wavetable synth. I think it was introduced in Live 10, and yeah, had some significant improvements in the latest Live 11. So for the VST, we're just gonna do the generic Analog Lab by Arturia. So we've got a lot of different options. I'll probably put that in right now, but maybe we'll save that till the end to see what the track might need later on, since it's so diverse. For the effect, we're gonna use Stutterer from Max for Live, and I don't think I'm familiar with that one, so that'll be fun to explore. And then the Oblique Strategy of the day is don't break the silence. So I'll try to interpret that as I create our original track today. So thanks again for joining, and let's go ahead and get started. As always, you're listening to Bede's internal wavetable synthesizer, just kind of droning on, and I've dialed in a couple parameters to give it some interesting movement. It's a really cool synth, and we will probably be using that as well. So let's get started. Actually, since we're on the modular track right now, why don't I go ahead and try to tune this thing into E so that we at least have a drone. Although I don't have perfect pitch, so I'm gonna have to see what E sounds like. So I take that back. We've already got Analog Lab in here, and I'll show you what that looks like. I think we can have the initial bass patch in here. While that's loading up, I'm gonna put in our scale of the day, which is E-Hungarian Minor. And I just like putting that into the push at the very beginning so we kind of know what we're working with. And let's just look at a synth lead so we can kind of go through. Oh, Oxygen. This must be Jean-Michel Jarre inspired. So I'm gonna press an E so we can kind of hear what that sounds like and try to tune beads. This is a hard patch to work with. Let me pull out some of these take out some of these patch cables. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're in E. So I'm gonna let that drone on, and let me go ahead and patch it back up so it's not just a static sound. Maybe we don't need that. Okay. Is that interesting enough as to not be super annoying? I'll also patch in as you can tell, it's real easy to get lost in this world. Yeah, that's a... Oh, well, we lost it. I just turned the wet, dry knob up. Okay, so now let's kind of see what this scale sounds like. Kind of a long sustain on here. Let's pull that down. Oh man, that's a cool scale. Well, it's called Hungarian Minor, and I definitely have this Eastern European vibe. My wife and I were lucky enough to travel to Eastern Europe a bit back in 2014. We went to Hungary and the Czech Republic, Croatia. I guess that's a former bloc, but not necessarily Eastern Europe. But yeah, it was awesome. Bosnia, Herzegovina. Really cool region of the world. So I'm gonna try to keep that in mind as I make something today. Okay, I do like that sound, but I don't think we're gonna use this for our lead. Let's go ahead and go into 107 beats per minute. And as always, we can start off with a 4 on the floor, although let's not start off with 4 on the floor right now. Let me program kind of a polyrhythmic beat, like a minimal one. And then what I'm gonna do is to give it some interest. Add a lot of reverb to that. So you get an idea of what the so that was at 125 beats per minute. Let me let's shoots, I kind of messed this up. Just give it something a little more interesting. And we can go back to our okay. Kind of like that. It's just a little 8-bar loop that was programmed in the TR-8S Roland drum machine. And with the kick and the snare, I made the last step a prime number. I think on the kick drum it's 13, and on the snare it is also 13. So you're always going to get this just a slightly different kick and snare pattern. I mean, we could even go a little more nuts. Actually, I am going to make, I changed the steps on the snare to be 12, so the kick and the snare will be hitting at different points as the beat evolves. And then, yeah, some of these percussions are a little take some of these out, and then I'm going to add a lot of reverb to them. Lower them a little. And then this snare's a little harsh. Yeah. Add a little bit of a delay. Yeah, this is kind of a end of week kind of vibe. So, what else we got here? Let's, Wavetable is also pretty diverse, but let me go ahead and put that in. I'm just gonna put in a Wavetable synth, and we can look at a preset. And I could kind of show you a little bit of how that works. Although, let's just see what the default instrument looks like. I think it might just be a so this is getting Midi from the the TB303 clone, the TB3. Oh yeah, so we just got some basic shapes here. And you can see that the wavetable, with Wavetable, you can try out the different waves within the wavetable itself, and it evolves really nicely with one another. Square wave all the way down to sine, And then you've got so many different options. You've got envelope options, a mod source, you know, actually 3 different envelopes. You've got 2 LFOs. You've got this matrix where you can assign, you know, the amp, the 2 envelopes, 2 LFOs to pretty much anything you want over here. The amp, the pitch, oscillator 1 position. We currently only have oscillator 1 enabled, but you can have 2, and you can mix them both. So you can have 2 saw waves and then slightly detune one of them. Wait, that's... Add some unison. And then it's also MPE enabled or Aftertouch enabled. I know they're 2 different things, but just to demonstrate what Aftertouch is you can press on something, and the harder you press on that held note on a compatible Midi device, you'll see that you can evolve the wave slightly, and you know, move with pressure. So MPE stands for Midi Polyphonic Expression, and it's the same concept, but with an MPE enabled device, each note can have its own separate, or each pad can have its own separate expression. And new to Live 11, MPE is enabled on push 2 and also on a lot of the internal instruments, which is awesome. And I haven't explored that as much as I should. So let's quickly take a look at maybe... We've got our ambient already. Although maybe we can try out a little pad. This is a nice, jar-ish sounding. Wavetable does take up a bit of CPU though. Apex twist. Let's try this one. Yeah, my CPU is going nuts. I wonder if there's like a eco mode on here. No, it's just that this is a pretty... ceremonial pads. Let's see if we can sequence this with the noodler. I think there's Hungarian Minor. It's called Gypsy Minor. I think it's similar. Let's just see if we can come up with a little pattern of pads. Oh wait, port 1 for pads. can see the notes being displayed also on the push down here. You can see that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to jam on this noodler. That didn't sound right. But I'm gonna use the what we have on the VST right now. Let's see. Something like that. And that's not an arpeggiated pattern. That pattern is coming from the noodler over here. This isn't really working for me. Let me switch this up a little bit. I'm going to use it just a simple triad. And then, you know what, I'm gonna switch up the pad sound, so don't get too attached to it. I'm just trying to find a good pattern that I can, good chord pattern. I wanna start off with that, then I want this to be the second one, which is F sharp. Maybe this, E, F sharp, D sharp. Yeah, let's do that. So we're ready to try our first hand. What I think I'm gonna do is I'll put in a 4 on the floor just to, instead of the metronome. So you might hear some double kicks, because it's going to be playing along with what we currently have programmed. But let's go ahead and do this. That's good. And what you'll see is we've got our arpeggio here. That's our wavetable. And this is our ceremonial pads. And we can actually now manipulate the Midi. So what I liked is I just like the basic. I'm gonna take these last two, let the chord changes come a little more quickly. Although, well, let's see. 4. Okay. Actually, maybe we will just take. Maybe we'll take this loop right here. Oh, and I just. Although, we have to make sure that we're taking the same part, so let's forget that. Let me just remember where we are. Right here at 7.5. So I have to do the same thing over here to keep that same. Yeah. I'm gonna crop that, and we're good. Then I'm just gonna move this loop point over. Over here. See, this is the difficult part about editing two parts that kind of go together, especially when I didn't do a really good job at pressing the buttons in time. But let me just record this again. I need the metronome. Yeah, you know, I think let's just go with this. I'm gonna go ahead and quantize that slightly. Let me just replace these two. I'll also quantize this. And let me also change the port because I don't want to use the noodler anymore. We got our 20-ish bar MIDI loops. Let's just hear what that sounds like for right now, and then I'm gonna go ahead and change the instruments. So if you've just joined us, the ceremonial pad right here is the Wavetable synth that we have, and the VST is Analog Lab. I think we're gonna keep this. This is the little arpeggiated pattern, daytime plucked lead, and we can also mess with some of the parameters, modulate something. But let's just hear what this sounds like for now, and I think I'm going to change these ceremonial pads. And I already know what I want to do with this, I want to select all and pitch it up. See there, it's a little bit off, but I don't mind that. Because we have kind of a weird polyrhythm going. Let's go ahead and change some of the, swap some of these pad sounds out. That already had a pad in there, chords in there. As you can see, my CPU is going nuts, so I'm going to change some of this. Let's see. It's a little harsh. But I can also move everything back down the original octave, so it's just down an octave. I also want to make sure that I'm in the right scale, and that's because the Noodler doesn't have the Hungarian Minor. I see that there are a couple notes that are not within that scale, and we can actually just shift those up very easily. So I'm going to do that, because everything else we're going to... Yeah, it's just slightly different, so it looks like I just have to move some of these up. The great thing about Live's new clip view is now you can see what notes are not in that scale. What's up, Samora? Yeah, thanks. I know we're in this E-Hungarian minor scale, and earlier on in the episode I was kind of talking about how my wife and I traveled to Eastern Europe in 2014, and I'm kind of trying to keep that vibe in mind. But yeah, like, it's crazy, the scale. Check this out. This is what it sounds like. It's got that total former Eastern Bloc vibe, I guess. I like it. And then what I'm going to do here, so I don't want to fold it, but I'm going to maybe move this up so that we're in that scale. So see, it's just slightly different. So instead of the A, it's going to the A sharp. So it'll sound slightly different than what we originally had. Let's take a listen. Oh yeah, it's real dissonant. I wonder if I could change this a little bit. See, right here has a little, it's a little different. Let's see. That's why this A sharp, I'm just gonna Let's hear this. And shoots, you know what? I wish I kept the original, but let's just work with it. It's gonna have a little, I don't mind that dissonance, you know? Sometimes songs just have that part that is just like, what is that? So I don't mind that for a morning page. We could always change the scale if we decide to finish this, you know, or shift it up or down. The Noodler was in a scale called Gypsy Harmonic Minor, and I thought that might be similar, but there were just a couple notes that were different in the scale, but you can tell this Hungarian minor is unique. All right, so we've got that. Now I think I'm going to, Labor Day is tomorrow. Everybody celebrating Labor Day by not working. I think it's a US holiday, yeah. Let's see. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go over to, I'm gonna shift the focus. Yeah, that thing is so dissonant out there. It could work. I'm going to point the camera down to the 2600, and I'm going to just go ahead and keep this running, maybe at a lower volume. And then let's work on this. Oop, that's the Pro-1, wrong machine. Okay, so with the 2600, I'm gonna actually have to move the chain selector over to the Blue Marvin, and I'm going to have to patch it on the patch bay. Okay, there we go. And although, if you could bear with me for just a second, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record these two parts in so I can disable the VSTs, because it's doing a number on my CPU, as it has been every day. So all I'm doing is selecting the audio from the appropriate channels. These are our Midi channels that have the VSTs or internal software instruments in them. And then these are audio files that are just gonna listen to whatever's going on in there, and we'll be able to record them in as audio, and then our CPU won't suffer as much. And I'm not gonna do any modulation with them right now. I might just manipulate them with effects on the audio level. Although, let's see if we can do some light mouse click type modulation. Oh, I like that. Should have put an LFO on here. But that's okay. Oh, the timbre might be kind of cool. So this plucked lead that we're using right now is based off of the Oberheim SEM. And I actually have that, so we're able to look at the synth part of it. This is an easier way for me to this is up. Let's see how much longer we have till that bar finishes. Oh, we've just started it. Oh, did you see that? Those quick mouse clicks taking off the loop at the very end. I'm proud of myself. Okay, so now we can now disable these VSTs, and let's take a look. If I press play, oh, you know, it's not too bad. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I'm at about 50%, but let's turn these off and see where we come down to. Oh my gosh, yeah, huge savings, and we have them right here anyway. Okay, now this one right here, let me rename this to make it easier. This is, oh, it already says 2600. So this is the 2600, the synth that you're looking at right now. And let me arm it. And there is a lot of latency, so I can, now that we have disabled the VSTs, it's easier now for me to play a synth part. Let me do a little bit of sound design on it. So as we're letting that run, I'm gonna put in my MDD Snake, the Renee emulator on here, and I'm gonna let it play a sequence in the E-Hungarian minor scale by cheating and putting in the MIDI effect, the scale MIDI effect. You can follow along here if you don't know where it is in live over here on the left-hand panel. So it's got, if you go to the scale MIDI effect, you can see all of the different scales that are included internally within live, as well as on push. You can also create your own personalized scale as well. That just takes a little more work. But we can do that on another morning page. Okay, so we have already run through that loop. Okay, so now I'm gonna put in a randomized. Ooh, that's C. It's really loud. I want to be in this lower register. And I'm going to give it a little we're just going to keep this on for now to do some sound design. Right now this is just mixing in the 3 oscillators. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3. This is a pulse. I like this third oscillator sound right now. And we can actually fine tune. These are really touchy controls up here. Maybe something like that. And I could turn up, this is a spring reverb right here. There's an actual mechanical spring in this version of the 2600. We can solo this out. No spring reverb, and I'm just gonna push it up a little. Okay. Fun fact, this synthesizer, well, not this one, this is a clone of the original ARP 2600, but the ARP 2600 was the synth that, where they made the R2D2 noises. So that might be my next project. Out. Let me see. That's okay. That's not doing anything, is it? Maybe something like that. Now let's mess with the I like the sound that we have. What do you think? Should I add the first oscillator? Yeah, it adds more depth. Let's see if we could pitch this up a little bit. Yeah. All right, Samora. Hey, yeah, thanks for coming. You've got a streak going on days in a row. I appreciate everyone watching. But yeah, thanks Samora for supporting the channel. He's my first subscriber. All right. Let's hear it within context. The only thing with this is that, you know, it ends up being a little static because of the fact that it's a, you know, 16 step sequencer. You could always record this into Midi and then mess with it that way. Although I'm wondering if we could even get a little crazy. I'm gonna turn that off. And then use a Max for Live device that I haven't used in a while. Did we do Space Invaders or Ghosts the last time? Can't remember what they called the Space Invaders one. Oh, they just called it Space Invaders. Let's see how this would turn out. This is a sequencer that I got off of Isotonic Studios. And I need to put the scale after that. It's based off of video games, old school video games. And I think we might have used this one before. And it's essentially, you've got the fighters that you can, these are shooting out triggers, and then each of these invaders represents a note, and you can turn them on or off. But maybe what we'll do is figure out where's the pitch. You can do octave. Okay, well this isn't really working as I thought. I need to, again, click on the manual. This is just to show you that, you know, there are some pretty fun tools that you got at your disposal when it comes to sequencers. I think the Frogger one might be fun. Okay. See, I mean, there's a reason why I like the MDD Snake. So what I'm going to do is, for fun, I'm going to record that Midi. And as I move some parameters and put some random in, you can see it's getting some Midi information. So you can see, you know, it's randomly generating some of these notes in the scale that I want. And now we can actually turn these off. And now, you know, we've got 21 bars, and maybe we can find like a nice little loop. Or use our little chants. I know it might be I might overuse this, but this is a good way to kind of thin out some of your MIDI if you've got just a ton of MIDI notes going on. So right now it's only going to run at 60%. And what might be fun is now we can add a, let's add our external audio effects. So now the 2600 will be running into the Eventide H9. And maybe we could add some like micro pitching or some space to it. Let's see. So let me connect the H9. And in fact, I know there's an update and I'm excited to see if it's going to fix some of the problems that I have. So I'll just do that later. But let's look at micro pitch. Let me turn this down a little bit. You guys hear that noise? That hiss. It might just be from the machine itself. Can kind of get you dizzy. This is based on the classic H3000. Let's see. We already have some spring reverb in there, but I can turn it off right now. Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, hey, awesome. Hey, thanks for the raid, Toto. This is awesome. Hope you guys are doing well. So right now, you caught me in the middle of trying to program this Blue Marvin over here. Let me move the camera down. It's my newest synth, and I don't know about you or if anyone's ever tried an original ARP 2600. I've always wanted one, and now that I have one, it's like, oh my gosh, how do I even program this thing? Yeah, thanks so much. Hey, Qubit. I love your channel. And I love Toto Robbins' channel. I've watched that a few times. This is cool to see so many familiar faces. I'm really new on Twitch, so I apologize in advance. I don't know how to do a lot of the things, like rating other people and doing all that. But I'm learning, and yeah, one of these days I'll be able to return the favor. All right. So what I try to do on this channel is I just broadcast my morning pages. Right now it's 9:22 a.m. in Hawaii. Sunday, September 5th, if anybody's in another, totally on the other side of the time zones. And every day I want to make an original track, and you know, with no judgments. It doesn't have to be the greatest track, but you know, I think the point is just to show up to the page, which is my DAW and the studio, and to just make something and be creative and just put some new art out into the world. And then every so often, I would say like maybe once every couple of weeks, there'll be a track that I want to finish. So then on Fridays in the afternoon, what I'll do is, and I've only done it once, but it's called Finish Friday. So I'll just finish that track as much as I can within a couple hours. So this process, this morning page process, had originally taken maybe half an hour, but it's now, yesterday's was 2 hours long because we kind of got into a groove, and then I post everything, no matter how horrible it sounds, on my SoundCloud page. So it's just really an exercise that's for me personally to be accountable to myself, to actually show up and do morning pages every day. And so I'm stoked that you guys showed up too. Thank you so much for swinging by. All right, let's finish. Let's see what we have so far for the people who just came. So this right here is the 2600. And I've got it running through the H9, but just to show you that this is live. When we record this in, I think I'm gonna, for sure, add some modulation. It's a little coming in a little hot. Sorry. Oh, I'm on the wrong channel. There we go. And we recorded this Midi in the E-Hungarian minor scale, and we've decreased the chance of these notes firing off, and that's why it sounds a little inconsistent. But what we're going to try to do is find like a nice loop point to give it some more consistency. And the sequencer I use is a software one called MDD Snake, which is an emulation of the Make Noise Renee. So, hey, yeah, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and thanks for the raid again. I'm super stoked. Okay, so let's keep going with this track. And if you're new, also, I put on what I call morning page parameters, because I don't know about you, but first thing I do when I wake up, I'm not really wanting to make a lot of these decisions. So like I randomly generate some of these parameters to loosely follow. You know, of course, everything is flexible. There's no strict rules. So today we're using Wavetable. I have an older computer, so I had to disable the VSTs, but this is the contemplation. It's a little bit of a tweak of the contemplation preset on Live 11's Wavetable. And we recorded in the Midi using the Noodler, which is a great external Midi sequencer that has 4 parts. It's got a pad, a drone, and then 2 lead parts. And I highly recommend it, because if you're the type to go DAW-less, you don't even need the computer to run it. But if you're using it with a DAW, all you have to do is select that as your MIDI input, and like every little knob that you turn, as well as the chord progression changes that you use using the buttons over here. Let me point it out. All of that can be recorded into your DAW. So that's the contemplation, and at the same time, we used Analog Lab, which is our VST of the day. We're using an Oberheim SEM patch, and the Noodler also generated these MIDI notes here. But I've turned them off, and we've recorded them as audio in these tracks over here. So that's what you're hearing right now. And I've been able to disable the VSTs and the Wavetable synth, because my CPU just jumped and it got all staticky. Hey, Melissa, how's it going? Hey, Seraphim. Thank you guys all for coming. Qubit, Night Spot. My close range vision is going. Seraphim. Oh, Johnny Bot, I recognize you. Conflicted Operator, what's up? Yo, thanks for the raids. Moonhouse. Man, this is really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish this up. So far, we've gone through the Analog Lab with the SEM, the Stutterer, the Wavetable. We haven't done Stutterer yet. So I'm gonna put the Stutterer on. It's a Max for Live device, and I don't think I've ever used it before. It's an audio effect, so I can put this maybe on my arpeggiated pattern. Also, what we did was oh, this is a cool interface. The drums are coming from the Roland TR-8S, if anyone's familiar with that. So we recorded a little polyrhythmic type pattern. And the way I made a polyrhythmic is to have the choose the last step that's different. Cool. And then this is all synced up via Midi, so we can stick at our 107 beats per minute tempo. But what was I doing? Let's hear what the stutterer does. I'm just gonna play the VST part. It's hard to hear it. Let me raise the gain on here. Let's see what this does. Oh, you need a trigger. Oh, we can auto trigger this. You can see it can get a little nuts. Pitch range. Okay, here we go. This is gonna keep us in the same ballpark as our E minor, Hungarian minor scale. And there's also a portamento, wow. I want to keep this subtle. Oh, I see. And then you could choose the step and the density. Oh my gosh. This could get a little crazy and chaotic, especially with the VST. But actually, let's see what this might sound like on our drum track. Let's look at this One Beat Wonder preset. And again, this is just going to be manipulating the audio that's coming from the TR-8S. So let's see this. Oh, cool. So it can actually trigger. Look at that. Hey, effin' Izzy. Yeah, it is kind of like a ratchet. Neat. I like this because, and the cool thing is that it's an audio effect. I think this must have come with Live 11. Let's try some of the other presets to just get an idea. DJ 1999. I like this one. It's the audio. This one's really subtle. I'm just gonna keep this on the drum track as we go. Cool. Okay, so let's just take some inventory on what we have so far. I'm gonna kind of collapse these guys because it's we're not gonna be using those VSTs anymore. So far we have, we've got our pad, which was from Wavetable. We've got a little arpeggiated pattern from the SEM. And we've got some random synth hits on the 2600. Let me go ahead and finish up finding a good external audio effect. So right now I'm using the H9 external foot pedal. It's such a great effects pedal. I mean, it's diverse, so I can add some delays. Okay, I like something like this because it's gonna make the 2600 a bit more interesting. let me go ahead and let's record this in. It might be have a little bit too much delay, but I like the pitch. That pitch effect kind of gives it that an even more analog feel, even though ironically we're taking an analog synth and putting it into a digital delay and then recording it in digital format. But you know, hey, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Man, I'm stoked to see so many people here. Welcome to Morning Pages. It is 9:30 now in Hawaii. What time is it where you guys are? And hey, where's everyone from? Okay. I'm gonna look at the chat while we just record this channel. Right now we're recording the 2600. That's good right here. I'm just gonna turn it off and let the effects ring out. The cool thing is that stutter effect, because this is kind of a polyrhythmic pattern, it's pretty random on the hits that it affects. That's pretty cool. I'm just going to keep it on there as we go into arrangement and try to put this all together. I think the final thing I want to do is maybe put in some bass. And one of my favorite bass machines is this Pro-1 over here. This is the Behringer version. I guess this is the Behringer episode since we used the 2600. Let me just make sure this track is armed so we can hear it. Maybe we can, well, yeah, if you guys weren't here at the beginning, we're in the E-harmonic, not harmonic minor, we're in Hungarian minor. And it's such a cool scale. I don't use it that much, but I think I might now. This is such a cool, just gives me a cool feeling, like a really cool vibe. So what I think I'm gonna do, maybe we could just do something like a disco bass pattern or something like that. I don't know, let's hear what we have so far and then we can just start recording. Or maybe something like this and then just... The Pro-1 is my favorite synth, by the way. It's kind of my go-to for pretty much anything. I can't afford a real Pro-1, and I also don't have the technical ability to repair them. I heard they're very finicky. But yeah, the Behringer version sounds really good, I think. Okay, let's just go ahead and press play and let's see if we can put in a It's kind of hard if I don't have like a 4 on the floor pattern to work with, huh? Okay, and the shortcut for capture on the push is record and new. Oh no. And I didn't capture that because I also have MIDI running from the noodler. So you can see that it actually captured this motif and not what I wanted to record. So let me do this again. Maybe just something like that. What was that? Oh, was that the ratchet? And then I'm going to quantize this to about 80%. Well, let's make this like a 90% quantize. Make sure that we're somewhat in a good time, but not super robotic. And let's record that in. And then I think we're good with what we have so far. And we're just gonna, the last part that I wanna do is spend maybe 20 minutes just putting it into an arrangement. And then, you know, maybe adding a couple things here and there. I might add some vocals, like not my own vocals, but from the radio app from Plugin Boutique. So yeah, stick around if you wanna see that. That VST is one of my favorites. Let me record this part in first though. And I'm going to sweep or manipulate the filter a little bit manually. I'm not gonna mess with the modulation section quite yet. Okay. Started it again. So yeah, it's kind of odd. It's 25 bars, but I think that's okay because if we end up looping that around in arrangement, it's gonna give it a little bit of a different feel. So I'm probably just gonna keep some of that. Maybe right here. Maybe add some gain right now. And then let me go ahead and start playing the loop that we have so far. Hey, thanks, Moonhouse. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and listen to the original Pro-1 part, even though we recorded it in. And then I'm going to just show you this radio app.
So much about the stone. How did she find it?
Possibly because, though it pains me to say so, her research work was rather better than yours.
No. She was going to curse me. Will you see what's happened to me, to my work, to my mind? She's witch.
The original lady, they burnt at Tregarthen.
Okay, so this is the radio app, and it's my go-to for some just random little vocal hits and samples. Let me just quickly show you. I've got a bunch of user presets that I like. This app is essentially, it's categorized a ton of different online streaming radio stations. And whatever station you're on, it provides you a 30-second buffer that's right here in the main window. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And what you can do is within this 30-second buffer, you can just select with your mouse a section, and all you have to do is click save selection, and it's automatically saved to whatever folder you wanted to put it in. And it's just a great way to find some cool random samples. Now my favorite stations are the ones like Old Time Radio, or they have like these Halloween or horror radio programs. And the reason why I like those is because a lot of those are royalty free, or the samples have already been cleared, or those programs are already in the public domain. And so that's such a great way to find some unique samples, and then you just add your own effects or your own flair, throw them into a sampler or a simpler, and manipulate away. But let me just show you, like, there are just, I want to say there's like thousands. Like there's an old time radio category, and it's got a handful. It looks like maybe 15. But like if you look at uncategorized, it's just a ton. Like, and I'm just scrolling up and down. There's just, it's almost too many radio stations to scan. So right now I'm just adding some echo to this to make it a little more interesting. But even like this guy's voice right here is interesting, and I have no idea what he's been saying for the last 30 seconds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this section right here. I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to select it, and it saves that selection right here. Radio 72, and I'm going to call this the Lodestone. Some of it includes the metadata provided by the radio station, as you can see right here. So I always like to write down what the program is in case I want to find it again, even though I think they're almost impossible to find online. So yeah, and actually, just from this window here, you can just drag it into an empty audio clip slot, and you can see that we have it right here, and it's already warped. Let's take off, well, let me put the warp on, and let's just hear what we have.
Still, Winterset is a small village, and if I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar, my dear sir, good news, glorious news. God is gracious, I have found your tombstone. Aha, you are saying. Aha, you are astonished.
Ooh, that's how we're going to start this track. Okay, let's go ahead and start arranging this. So what I want to do is I'm going to I just want to put all of my recorded clips in the same area. Just so when we're in arrangement view, it's just easier to access everything. I'm just going to drag this audio clip over. Let me also disable some of these MIDI tracks. Oh, right. We have, this is my modular right here. And it's just droning in E. So I want to use this as well. Before I forget, let me go ahead and just record some of that in. It's beads right here. And I'm just going to sweep through the wavetable. That's enough drones for now. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch it down. So it's just 30 bars of drones. Just so we have another element to play with. All right, guys, so this is the moment of truth. I don't know why, but with Live 11, for some reason, every time I move a track, I mean, not every time, but every once in a while, Live will just crash. All right, we got it. So you can see there's actually no clips in this drum track right here. What I want to do is I want to record the MIDI. So I had just step programmed that polyrhythm in the TR-8S itself. Now what I can do now is I can listen to MIDI from that TR-8S by going on the MIDI from drop-down menu and selecting TR-8S. And I can record that MIDI in. And the reason why I want to do that is because it's easier once you get to the arrangement part to then start slicing up some drum parts and then you know, adding little fills if you wanted, or adding breaks. And it's just a little more difficult when you're on the hardware. I mean, but it's a more live experience if you do that. But that's the reason why I like to record it in as MIDI. So let's go ahead and do that. And you're going to hear a doubling up, and you can see that it didn't quite start at the 1. And this is not going to record the that ratchet effect, the stutter effect that you hear. So I'm going to record maybe 24 bars of this. Because then that'll kind of go with our Pro-1 part. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn off my drone because I have some already. And now for here, because there's some latency issues, I am going to go ahead and just quantize this at 100%. And let's hope that everything shifts over correctly. And it does. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear those parts so that now we have a blank slate. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this, but at the same time, let me record in some motion. I always like to pan my record motion to pan the hi-hats. So let's go ahead and we'll just listen to the drum beat, and then we'll only do this for a couple rounds. I'm going to change the delay of that kick at the beginning. What else can I do? Let me see how this. Change the snare. No, I like the snare a little more subtle. How about that's all we'll do for the motion recording? Okay. So let's go ahead and move all of our elements to arrangement. And this part will take maybe 20 minutes. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But again, I just want to say I appreciate all you guys coming through. And thanks again, Toto, Robin, and whoever else may have rated me. I'm still a newbie, so I'm unsure how to like check all of that. But yeah, by Morning Pages, so effin' Izzy, if you're still on, yes, it's the Julia Cameron book. Do I have it here? But yeah, so just a quick story on the origin of Morning Pages. So I've been doing Morning Pages, the written part, or I had been doing that for a couple of years, and then I just needed to figure out how to apply that to music. So now instead of writing 3 pages freehand, which was a great exercise and I felt like it refreshed me, and it was a great way to start the day. Hey, Sulkin Raven, what's up? Yeah, I mean, I can tell you must have known it from the headline, right? The Morning Pages. So instead of writing 3 pages freehand, what I started doing, this is back in probably 2 years ago now to the day, because I started in September 2019. Oh, Sonic Pages, cool. I gotta check it out. Do you broadcast it on Twitch? I'd love to check it out. So yeah, so I just applied the Morning Pages concept to Ableton Live in the studio. So instead of opening up a composition book, a blank composition book, I just open up a blank set in Live, and then I just turn on the studio. And then it used to be that I would spend maybe 20 minutes to half an hour just making something in the morning, first thing, before work, before doing anything else, except for coffee. So I'll make coffee first. Then yeah, it kind of evolved to recently now doing this on Twitch, and kind of just keeping myself accountable to do it, and then to make something a little more interesting. And I think that having other eyes on my project helps me like kind of stay focused. And what I found is, so my last album that came out in June, all of that started off, all of the tracks on there started off as a morning page. And again, like if you do it every day, you have 365 tracks. And I would say most of them would be not super great. And in fact, just like kind of forgettable. But then say like maybe you're happy with 1 per month. That's already 12 tracks a year that you can make a commitment to actually finish. And that's an album a year. And I would say that maybe every couple weeks I have a piece that I'm like, hey, you know, there's something interesting in that. And so, you know, that's 24 tracks. And then sometimes, you know, you'll have this streak of like just making some great things. So, yeah, while most of the time they're not like great, every once in a while you'll get something that's worthy of finishing. So that's why I love the process. So anyways, yeah, it's a great book. I highly recommend it. There's also another one by Julia Cameron, same author, Walking in This World. So I've been taking walks, and that's been helping me kind of clear my head. And but yeah, so let's go ahead and put this in arrangement and see if we could just arrange this into like a little two minute quote finished track. So we've got our drum parts here. I'm gonna just duplicate that a couple of times. I just want to refresh myself what all of these things are. I know this is the 2600. This is the 2600. It's kind of like a random lead part. Random lead. This one is my Pro-1. Pro-1, it's kind of like a bass, right? This one, oh, this one is my SEM bells. This one's from Analog Lab. This one's my pads, and this one came from Wavetable, and then sequenced by the Noodler. And actually, same with this one. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that these two parts kind of stay together because they were recorded together. And so I'm thinking at this point maybe these guys come in at 8 bars, and then they just finish this part right here, number 6. And I should be doing this as I go along, so save some time. This is the Beads Eurorack drone in E. And then this is just this is called the Lodestone. I'll remember that this is my little vocal part. But there was a great part in here that I think I want to use to start the track. I also have to make sure that all of my audio tracks are activated. So we have everything here. I'm thinking this random lead won't come in until 17. The Pro bass might come in at 4 bars. So you see, this part of the process is kind of interesting. I feel that it's working a different part of the brain. It's almost like Excel. You know, you already know the parts that you've got, and now it's kind of like a lot of copying and pasting, and maybe like taking sections out of pieces and then arranging them. And a lot of it's from memory because you've recorded this in. But then a lot of it is just like, oh, well, let's bring in a new part after 16 bars, or let's drop this part out during a break. So yeah, this is kind of like Excel.
I have found.
So let me find that part that I like.
Found your tombstone. Aha, you are saying. Aha, you are astonished.
That's what I want right here. Right here. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna Command E to get that part out. And I'm gonna start the track off with that. And I'm gonna just use my generic send and returns. They're my go-to delay and reverbs. And yeah, we gotta just put a ton of effects on this one. And I think maybe we'll start off with the drone, and maybe with our drums over here. I'm going to cut this section at this point, first 8 bars, and then I'm gonna just drop out the kick. I'm gonna drop out the snare, drop out the hi-hat, the closed hat, and just have maybe some of these percussive hits. They're very sparse. But let's see what we have so far.
Aha! You are astonished. But I have some help research.
We got to extend this out.
Aha! You are astonished. But I have some help research. And to my astonishment, I find you are right, young fellow. You are right. The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791. It was in Gordon.
And actually, what we can do is I'll go like this, and then I don't want these bells to come in, so I'm going to, I wanted to keep these tracks together because they were recorded together with the same chord changes.
The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1797.
Oh, and in fact, maybe all this comes in earlier. No. This is fine.
The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791. It was in Gordon.
And then maybe here we could bring in the kick. So I'm gonna reactivate the kick.
The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in...
And then, because this is kind of at a slower tempo, I'm thinking I'm going to do a little bit of drum sound design over here, and I want that kick to just be like a longer burn, like maybe an 808. Let's see how that would sound. I'm gonna let's loop this.
The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791. It was in Gordon. The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon.
Let's turn this into a...
It was in Gordon. The witch's stone in Leeds.
Oh yeah, see, this is a long 808 kick.
It was in Gordon.
I don't want it to bring out too much, but...
Outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791. It was in Gordon.
But it gives us a lot of that sub, which I think is cool. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, thanks for swinging by. What do you guys think? I like the longer kick, just because we're at 107 BPM and we're using this weird kind of polyrhythmic type of rhythm. So I think we got, let's see, I think we got our little intro going.
You are astonished.
And then I'm going to just keep that stutter effect
My
in.
astonishment, I find you are right, young fellow. You are
And then
right. The witch's stone in Leeds turned outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1790.
bells come in. We don't want the bells to come in until maybe about here. Let's see.
Right. The witch's stone did indeed stand outside the graveyard.
And actually, maybe this is where we'll bring everything kind of in right here and put in a little mini break. Maybe, yeah, we'll drop everything except for one bass kick right here, like that. And it'll just be like our little mini break. Let's see how that would sound.
Right. The witch's stone did indeed stand outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791.
It's not that great, but let's just go ahead and keep it.
Witch's stone did indeed stand outside the graveyard at Gordon in 1791.
It signals something new's coming. Maybe we can put in a better sample over here, something more prominent.
During the great flood of 1793, do not sit village if I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar. My dear sir, good news. Glorious news.
glorious news would sound cool. So I'm just going to take that piece right here and bring it over to, I think it's right over here. We have our, I'm going to put mini break, break. So that when we're here, I can kind of look at that and maybe let's raise the volume a little bit.
Glorious news.
Yeah, and I'm going to stretch it out a little. Let's see if we can stretch it out. And right now, I'm just messing with the BPM on this particular clip. Maybe right here. And let's just maximize this send. I actually want this kick to have more impact, but you know, that's something we could think about if we decide to finish this track. Maybe something reversed over here. Maybe we could reverse this bass part. In Live 11, just if you guys are still on 10, if you upgrade, the reverse button now looks like this down here. Hey, F and Izzy. It's nice meeting you too. Thanks for swinging by. Aloha. I hope to see you guys soon, and I can't wait to check out you guys' channel as well. Oh yeah, and then we're gonna just move this reverse bass right here before we dive into this bell. Let's see. So, you know, it adds a little bit more of an impact.
Unfortunately, it seems to have disappeared during the great flood of 1792. Not village, and if I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar, my dear sir, good news.
You can also take...
God is gracious, I have found your tombstone.
I don't think we need any vocals around here.
The witch's stone. Glorious.
And maybe over here. Maybe here we can have like a nice long break. Yeah, again, this is going to be like a 2-minute track, so. And I want this 808 to come in at the very end. Or, yeah, let me go like this so that we can keep that. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and it'll be a little shorter break, and then we can continue on. And I'm wondering if we can, this is why I like having these in as MIDI, because now we can add another part. I mean, with a weird 4 on the floor type hi-hat drive this thing forward. Let's see. Or, well, yeah, something just, it'll be just something new. It's not like that. It'll just be more of a rhythmic pattern that we can do rather than doing that. I'm gonna just duplicate. Got it on the wrong one, but that's okay. Let's see how that would sound. And then also maybe like a, what do they call that? What do they call this? Ride cymbal. And I'm gonna change this ride cymbal, which is now a cowbell, to maybe a 909. Let's see. 909. Maybe just something real. I'm gonna make it real quiet. Raise the decay. Lower the pitch. And then let's just see how this sounds right now.
It was E-Hungarian. Unfortunately, it seems to have disappeared during the Great Flood of 1792. Do not thank. Still, it's a small village.
I think this would be just to add something a little extra.
Listen, good news. Holy gracious, I have found your tombstone.
No, we're just gonna keep this kind of a minimal track, and I think we could just end it. I think we could just end it like right around here. And there we go. I think we're done with our morning page today. I'm thinking. And then we'll just move this over here, maybe add a speaking part during the break. That might be interesting. Let me add a locator, main break. And then this one would be break end. Break end. Okay. So now we can, maybe we can lower the pitch of it a little bit. And then, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just make this global for this whole thing for now.
Unfortunately, it seems to have disappeared during the Great Flood of 1792.
And then let me crop this clip. I don't even know what part of this is, but you know, this is kind of a placeholder. Again, if we decide to do this for Finish Friday, this is where we would maybe find another sample or another section of the sample. But I just want to make sure I get down some of the ideas that I might have for this. And I just want to stretch this so it almost sounds artificial. Let's see if this would work like this.
Unfortunately, it seems to have disappeared during the Great Flood of 1792.
And I'm thinking what I can do is I'll take this part. I'll also crop that clip. And then this one, this guy will be really stretched out. As the break kind of ends. Let's see. Let's just see how this would sound. Doesn't have the same kind of impact, but that's okay. But we can raise that, and then actually let's put some of this shimmer reverb on there. Yeah. And then again, maybe at this point, we can add just some slight... I'm thinking here also what I might do is I'm going to put an LFO on my return track on my delay so that it's not so static. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the rate, lower the depth, and very slightly good. And you'll hear it when we've got this. You hear that? It's a slight repitch because we're just sending it to the return delay, and this has given me kind of an idea to, you know, add even more of this delay over here. These vocal parts could just kind of finish off our track right here.
If I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar. Good news.
Yeah, that's a good part right there, or interesting at least. Yeah, let's do it like this.
If I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar. Good news. For his gracious, I have found your tombstone.
And that's how we would end it. And what else can we do? So yeah, now it's just kind of adding some effects. You know, I don't want to go too nuts because, again, if I do go back to finish this, I don't want to have so much automation that it's, you know, just hard to clear. But since I will be posting this on SoundCloud, I do want it to sound okay, or at least interesting. And yeah, let's get this bass part going, maybe just up until here, where we've got this, our random lead. And actually, I think we kind of forgot about this part. So what does this sound like? Yeah, now I remember.
During the great darkness do not.
So I think I want to bring that back in at the very end as well. Ooh, that's pretty crazy.
I throw myself on the mercies of the vicar. Good news. I have found your tombstone.
Yeah, that's a cool way to end. Okay, so I think we have the main structure of our song. I'm gonna go ahead and record this in. I might do some manipulation of the drums on the TR-8S as we go along. But otherwise, you know, this is another edition of Morning Pages, and I am so stoked to see so many people on here. Thanks again for joining. And yeah, I do this every day at around 8 a.m. Hawaii time, so you can check the schedule. But again, it's like a morning page exercise. So and I do love my sleep, so I may be a little bit later, and then sometimes a little bit sooner. So yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow at around 8 o'clock, or some other day. I'm just gonna turn off my mic now. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for coming out and watching the channel. Aloha.
You are astonished. I have some help, and to my astonishment I find you are right, young fellow. You are right. The witch's strategy used in Untitled Radio was born in 1790. It was evil. Unfortunately, it seems to have disappeared. To my astonishment I find you are right, young fellow. You are right. The witch's strategy is glorious. It seems to have disappeared during the Great Flood of 1792. Do not I throw myself upon the mercies of the vicar. And yes, good news. I found your tombstones.